Okay, before we get into everything, I just want to sit there and make sure that everybody's well aware. So if you want to get some sweet Let's Defend swag, store.letsdefend.io. You've no doubt seen me wearing the hoodie that's emblemed, the t-shirt, even though that does not quite show up all that well in several of the videos, and the portion that pretty much never gets shown, of course, the very nice, look at the, of course, monitor reflection. Coffee mug. So go get your swag on today. Store.letsdefend.io. Now, mind you, I am doing this all by myself. I had no reimbursement, no money changing hands, anything else like that. But if you like the stuff and you want to show some support, get some swag. Anyways, so what are we really doing here outside of the shameless swag promo? We are, again, underneath the incident responder path, and we are looking for June 13th, 2023, 6:49 a.m., SOC207 Anomalous File OPS. EventID is 158. Event type is data leakage. Continuing the trend that we've been running through. So this looks like this affected the Megan system. File in question apparently is a CARRD with 2 R's, .exe, was dumped in the downloads directory, trigger reason too much file access, suspicious read and write activity, device action allowed, L1 note. Notice that the associated executable came from an email attachment. When I looked at the alarm, according to VirusTotal, the file is flagged as malicious. Oh. I did not hit the transition button. Oh well, it's just basically the text that's always there in the alert. Get rid of the little text blob that says about the swag. Okay, so if we take the file hash and dump it into VirusTotal just to confirm, we do indeed, at least as of mid-December 2023, 62 out of 72 engines detect the sample as no bueno. Marked as a Trojan. So let's see, Alibaba picks it up as Cobalt Strike. CrowdStrike's got 100% confidence that it's malicious. Dr. Web is backdoor interpreter. Nano is shellcode. Super anti-spyware, wow. They've actually got a detection for once. Trojan, backdoor shell. So it looks like Meterpreter or Cobalt Strike, something centered around there effectively. But I know before anybody sits there and throws shade, back when I was in the computer repair days, Super Anti-Spyware was one of the, follow-ups. Usually after like the big weeks, whatever the AV platform or choice was, quick scan with that, Super Anti-Spyware, Malwarebytes, Hitman Pro for the quick and dirty, okay, we got to get this thing back up and running. Let's see. We have a triage for that same hash. Wait. 39. Oh, okay, yeah. Targets the CARRD. Where it denotes Metasploit backdoor Trojan. Same aspect for hybrid analysis. 100 out of 100. Marked as malicious. And marked as suspicious in any .run. But it does this, at least with this in the screenshots, it kind of gives away a part of it. I don't know how well that's going to come across. Let's see if we can't make it a little bit bigger. So effectively what we're looking at here in the screenshot is a C/EXF directory. It looks like it's got a bunch of PNGs that would have been harvested from this any.run VM, and then an output.zip. So definitely doing some compression after it's gone through and grabbed things. And we notice, okay, in the process portion, there is a call to PowerShell-enc, and then a bunch of base 64. Take the base 64, dump it into CyberChef, apply the from base 64 and remove null bytes, and effectively we get the nice little section of text down here. The question is, can I make it bigger so that way it's easier to see? Yes, I can, apparently. Although it's, hurts my eyes. Too big. So it's basically setting a environmental variable system drive exf, just like what we observed in the any.run. And then it looks like it is looking for PNG, PDF, MP4, docx files. Recursive look through. And basically it looks like, yeah, copying them into the destination. And then it's applying the compress the archive of everything that's in the system drive /exf, so C:/exf. And that it's going to effectively make a output.zip. Then it's invoking web request, going out to this store1.gofile.io/upload file, and it's posting, so it is sending the data to the third-party server. And of course, that's sending $file, which is system drive /exf/output.zip. So it's definitely data exfiltration according to how this thing is spelled out. So if we take a look at traffic on the Megan system, we can see some DNS that doesn't apparently give us anything. Oh wait, no. We care about the 13th. Okay, so the very bottom end of this. So process, and we can see the store1 go file, but we get the response. Which might be something we will want to reference, especially if we're going to go through and check for any other instances of this in the environment. So we would want to take a look and see if we can find any other devices going to anything gofile.io. So here's the post with it sending the stuff out to store1.gofile.io. Again, the process is the CARRD with 2 R's. This looks like Azure Edge. So it's requesting stuff for Windows Update. If I had to guess, that probably would be a... Do we have internet connection? I mean, if it's a Windows machine, it makes sense you're going to poke to see as to whether or not if you can get to Windows Update, as opposed to like trying to ping like Google DNS or anything else like that. Because that would be the other aspect. If you're not using Google DNS and something tries to reach out to it, that looks a little bit off. If we take a look at emails, there is the one that was mentioned inside of like a 5-day window of when the event would sit in the middle. So June 12th, so the day before the alert kicked off, we get this CARRD@gmail.com. Again, CARRD with 2 R's. To Megan. Yeah, that's defend.io. Subject line, express yourself with custom cards, again with the 2 R's. And we notice that the download all points to CARRD.zip, 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 even the unsubscribe. So one way or the other, you're getting this card. So we're going to go through and we're going to take this and we're going to take our copy and we are going to remove it. I know we're kind of going in reverse order, but since we've already effectively done the analysis on the executable that obviously was run through, we can kind of understand as to where the alert came from. Because as we dug through the PowerShell base64 encoded aspect, it goes through searches for, what was it? PNG, PDF, docx, MP4. So it's looking. It wants to find copies of this stuff to snarf it up. Although I'm not entirely sure as to why they would want MP4. I could understand docx. I could understand PDF. I could understand, Excel documents. I mean, maybe even like, you're looking for like KeyPass files, things of that nature. You're going to try to sit there and brute force it offline. Something, but not entirely sure the MP4s. I guess if you get any idea in regards to the MP4s, by all means, please let me know what I'm missing. Is there some sort of recording in MP4 outside of, well, maybe they just want my my collection of that time I was reincarnated as a slime anime. I just don't know why you're looking for MP4. Okay, so endpoint. So we got Megan. We know automatically that, yes, having looked at the actual execution inside the various online sandboxes and the fact that it's, I mean, what would you call that? Like a 85% coverage? I guess I could quickly go through and do the math as opposed to just sit there and be like, let's just guess. What is 62 out of 72? Okay, apparently it's, oh, of course. I'm going to sit there and pull up my phone calculator. And then calc is maybe going to load in the background. Wow. 86.111111111%. So we'll just round down. 86%. That, yeah, wow, okay. That's, yowza. And yeah, if we use threat intel for the SHA-256 for that card with 2Rs.exe, we do get the fact that it is marked as Trojan from June 12th. So about the time that the email was making its rounds, and then 24 hours roughly, then we get execution on the box. Force a refresh. I want to see as to whether or not if. All right, so we've got the host contained. We're looking at processes. It looks like just a bunch of generic stuff to start with because things don't go hot until 6:49. So it looks like kind of your standard fare for the most part. We got Chrome. Then we get right to the pretty much the end of it. No. Okay, so let's reverse this in the opposite order so that way we can actually see the execution. So here's 064907. We see CARRD kicking off PowerShell, and we observe the same encoding blob as what we reversed inside of CyberChef. And then we see them actually kicking it off from their download directory, again at 6:49. And of course, because this is just being weird, I don't know if it's just the fact that I'm all like zoomed in, if that's part of the problem or not. Well, it kind of helped. But then we just go back to normal activity. And then, of course, the process logging stops once CARRD.exe is executed and we get the PowerShell stuff kicking off. So we're looking for 6:49, any activity past that point. And I mean, we do get a little bit. So 31, 14, 70, 243, that's going to be the hit to the store1.gofile.io. And we might want to poke at those to see as to what they come up with. So we'll spin up a Talos and an Alien Vault just for a quick run through. I suppose the other aspect is too, we can also hit VT since I mean, why not? Let's use the three big hitters. So we'll hit the 72, 21, 81, blah, blah, blah. So it's at least on people's radar, as it were. Doesn't change anything. Still Cyradar, Webroot, and Sock Radar, having them on the metaphorical shit list. Okay, so we'll duplicate this, and let's grab the 172.31.865. Just out of sheer fact, I'm thinking that's probably going to be like a T-Mobile address. So if I remember correctly, for whatever reason, they are very close to the typical range. Oh, let's see. Chicago, Illinois, huh? But yet nothing else. Apparently IP's shown up in multiple pulses. It's just taking its sweet time. But we do get related tags dropped, method post. So it's in the telemetry, we're seeing, okay, yeah, lots of crap that's been kind of kicked around in this thing, even though it's whitelisted. Oh, ASN's Verizon? but yet it all seems to correspond to windowsupdate.com. I mean, which we did observe activity in there. The 172.31.865 looks to be clean. Wow, you have been blocked. Why? Except I didn't submit anything. Or am I having an ODAL moment where this is part of like the internal? Private portion of the 172 address range only go from 172.16 to 172.31. The one we are attempting to submit is a 172.31. Okay, so I guess that explains as to why Talos would be like, no. And also, okay, yeah. And then we get the private aspect. Okie dokie artichoke. All right, so that's apparently going to be something potentially internal, although nothing comes back when we sweep for it. So we may want to sit there and ask the networking team, hey, do we have a 172.31.8 range that would exist? Can you go hunting through the core routers and take a look and see if you can find anything that might potentially have this address? If we can't, do like an NS lookup or anything on the network itself to see about locating. What do we got? Terminal history is, of course, the big thing that we were slightly concerned of. And what looks like just general use. Outlook Web Access, although that's before this CARRD stuff kicks off, so. Okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and do a connection. Let's try to get some sort of assertion as to what potential information would have gone out the door. Assuming host containment works as how it's implied, realistically, the system in question would not be able to sit there and get out to the internet. It would allow you to connect in. So typically, I can only speak for like in regards to CrowdStrike, but at least in that particular aspect, the system is cut off except for reporting back to CrowdStrike. So given the way that everything works, so that way you can still remote access the system using CrowdStrike to either see about collecting evidence, gather files, everything else like that, but effectively all network activities pretty much shut off. That's what I'm assuming would be the representation, although technically if that were the case and the network connectivity was cut off, then effectively RDP wouldn't work. And the VNC aspect that they're using to sit there and broadcast the VM to the web browser wouldn't work. So it's just kind of one of those just don't question it too hard aspects. this whole thing here with the 172.31 address. That's a whole aspect in regards to why the basics are so important. So then it must be the like 172.32 address range, at least portions of it that end up going to T-Mobile. I swear I'm not. Yeah. Right? Yeah. ipinfo.io AS2198 or 28 T-Mobile USA 172.32.0./22.4.0/22. Yes, they've got good steel stuff in that range. Oh. So we will have, what will we have when we actually go through and fill in the data portions? We've got the URL to the CARRD.zip. We've got the domain that they were trying to upload the data to and probably succeeded given the fact that I did not see anything that was to like deny. We got the IP address for the gofile.io in question. We've got what appears to be comms to that 72.21.81.240. No real explanation as to what that had to do with anything. All right, so that's coming. If we take a look at yeah, so they show the same exact portions. I'm just looking to see as to whether or not if there's a match for that 72.21 for anything else. No DNS requests were made. And just to confirm, so okay, with the hybrid analysis, we did get the CARRD.exe, then goes PowerShell, and then of course the nice thing about hybrid analysis where they actually reverse it for you if you didn't want to sit there and pull up CyberChef, but I wanted to run through that whole thing just as a reminder as to how we typically use CyberChef. Any.run, we have connections. Yes, we do. Any of them happen to be to a, okay, there's our store file. Nothing to a 72.21. All right, remote desktop. Let's get that sucker file. Ooh, and there's something different this time. The username is not Let's Defend. The username is Megan. I'm so used to it always being capital L, capital D, Let's Defend for the username. I am okay with this. Okay. So we take a look at, really. Was it just renamed? Interesting, all that stuff is gone. And we are looking for hidden items. but there is no EXF. I mean, I guess the one good thing out of all this would be the fact that, okay, they would have made off with The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, The Ultimate Self-Help Book, and A Thirst for War. I mean, as long as, they're not using one-time pads for passages out of these books, I guess that's okay. I can't say that I've ever seen staging like this before. So what's our statistics look like? And is this like a red alert, like someone's gonna get fired aspect, or simple PDF? Okay, I'm not mad. I mean, it'd be one of those instances where it's effectively just blind luck that you're not in bigger trouble. Nothing on the desktop. I mean, nice to see somebody going through and actually, running a very clean, lean and mean set of things. But oh God, I hope they enjoyed. The litany of PNG files, which look like just stuff that would be damn it, did I speak too soon? Okay, we got a foreign language, role investor, US dollars. I mean, I'm hoping it's just like some sort of demo. It looks like that's reversed. Stuff in different languages, but it looks like it's just like name. John Doe. Okay, so you get a name. I don't see an email address. I don't see like an account number or anything that would potentially link. So, I mean, I guess as far as like bad things go, this could be a hell of a lot worse. So it looks like they're using some sort of CRM at one point. Maybe they were dumped into a different system. Oh, okay, so these are just example pictures for Microsoft. Got a fake number, test lead. Well, I think I'd still want to sit there and find out, okay, who's ever directly responsible for like the Microsoft CRM. It's like, hey, I'm gonna send you some screenshots, and I need you to verify that this is just like there's absolutely nothing sensitive here. And then of course the other aspect would be too, you could then take this, turn it around, and if we had the capability of checking for hashes in the environment, I think we were able to do stuff like that with like Tanium, Bit9, in order to check for hashes in the environment. I know CrowdStrike has the same particular option. We could just grab some of these and see as to how widespread. Because obviously, if everybody in the CRM team, however small or big that may be, has those files, then it's probably a pretty good indicator that, yeah, this is all just nothing to be grossly concerned about. But usually when I see screenshots of, some sort of application, it's just like, oh shit, here we go again. Yeah, so they have nothing pretty much on this box. And I suppose this could be something like EXF, like it's somehow hidden, but you could navigate to it? Apparently not. Okay, let's go to log viewer. We'll pull up sysmon and we'll go from there. While you're doing that, what's in the temp directory? So we don't have anything from the time frame. That is correct. There is no history going back that far for the web browser. Okay. I was thinking like, oh, hey, maybe this might be a quick win. Like we'll actually end up seeing that portion in there, but I guess the other aspect is, if not Chrome, like Edge, Internet Explorer maybe? I don't know. We'll take a quick look at sysmon and we'll see. Do we actually care to keep digging down this hole? I mean, given the fact that I didn't see any sort of activity being stopped, I would think that we're just going to consider, well, I mean, okay, looking at the system, they're not going to pull much. A bunch of CRM screenshots that are so low res that they more than likely just have to be like demo pages. But we would want to sit there and talk to whoever would be in charge of that. All right, so it looks like we have a bunch of, do a quick confirmation. The alert went off 6:49 a.m. So this is probably going to be what? A bunch of like generic Windows things that we would just kind of sort of expect. Yeah, so let's move forward in time. All right, we're getting closer. So it looks like Defender was getting itself updated. Though interestingly enough, Sentinel-1 actually seems to have been running at the time, maybe? Oh, and we just stumbled right onto that stupid thing. And again, I apologize given the fact that it's so stinking small, but there's not really a whole heck of a lot I can do. But effectively what we're looking at is, so we got the sysmon log pulled up, and we're looking at June 13th, 2023. We've got 6:49 and 7 seconds AM with an EventID 1 process create. And there it points out, C users let's defend downloads car with 2Rs.exe having been executed. And it gives us the same SHA-256 hash starting in 39 beta and ending in 66 Charlie 2. And then we get the at same exact time, so 6:49 a.m. and 7 seconds. We get the PowerShell with the encoded base64 command directly after it. Then apparently CARRD.exe was terminated. A item for SVC host was set up. App compatibility flags. We still have Sentinel agent.exe. Looks like it's sitting there and doing queries for sentinel1.net domains, subdomains. And then 6:53 and 10 seconds, we get a DNS request from PowerShell for store1.gofile.io. We have PowerShell then reaching out to the 72.21.81.240, which is our believed. No, that's not our believed. That's the internal. I was trying to reach out to some other system over port 80. So we did the DNS request, but I have not yet observed. Now we're into 7 a.m. And then we kick over to 7:30 or 7:03, at least for Sysmon stuff. If it's set up in the same, do we have the PowerShell recording? No, we don't. Boo. Oh well, it is what it is. I guess we're not going to have permission. Give me the permission. Help me, help you, help me, help you. You have been denied. All right, how do we go through? What's the steps that we do? We change the owner. We change it to everyone because we just screw you and how do you do? We apply. It's going to do the needful. Yeah. Oh, all that for nothing. Here I was hoping that was going to be like some super secret thing kicking around in there. Apparently not. We just are not going to win. Well, that sucks. I was really hoping to see that it would do something. See if we can force the issue. Oh, you son of a... Or am I going to have to like manually pull it up? It's like, Chrome, I love you, but sometimes I just need you to just be more like Internet Explorer and just sit there and drool in the corner when it comes to me trying to pull things that obviously have been deemed as malicious. That is all I need. But I get it. We don't want to do that, because if we made it easier for Yep, and my system does not want to allow that to go. Because I can bypass that using Firefox, but then... There we go. Always ask as to where to. Okay, so if I have... Wow, even password protected, it's gotta be the fact that it's the location. I was just gonna sit there and try to bring this thing up, unless there's a quick way that I can just make Chrome dumber. Oh, did that actually work? I'll be damned. Okay, it's fine. So there's our PowerShell fun. Hey, take a look at that. We're proving it in real time. So they got the self-help books. They got... Okay, so yeah, it makes the outlook.zip. Someone's going to be grossly disappointed if this overwrites somebody else's copy of output. Well, it's writing it. It's about 11 megs. Does it clean up after itself, though? I mean, we're not doing a whole hell of a lot. But yeah, so there we go. We've got some of the data in Sysmon. We're able to confirm that the file was executed, the CARRD with 2 R's. .exe. We saw the PowerShell kick off the creation of that exf folder in the root of C drive, and then that it grabbed PDFs and PNGs, created a output.zip, and shunted that off to store1.gofile.io. All right, so I think we're done and we can kill that thing. Yeah. Was it still there? I just wanted to make sure it got terminated properly. I don't want to run up their clock if I can avoid it. Okay, I'd say that we've been able to confirm more than enough here. Data from local system. I'm going to say automated collection given the fact that it was all scripted. Oh, now the question is automated exfiltration or exfiltration over web service? Should be able to bring up the techniques. Procedure examples of automated exfiltration. Crutch has automatically exfiltrated stolen files to Dropbox. That's all we're doing is we're automatically kicking that stuff up and through. But alternatively, what is exfiltration over a web service by chance? Crap. Because I could see exfiltration over a web service too. Realistically. I mean, because it's already there, but then the automated would come into play, and I guess you could arguably say, okay, both techniques are observed. But the question is Let's Defend going to be a metaphorical stick up the butt? And okay, yes, you could claim either of these two, but there's only actually one right answer. I mean, arguably, okay, yeah, if we were writing out an after-action report in regards to this stuff to sit there and send out to stakeholders or affected parties, whatever the case is going to be, I would say you could go either or throw them both in, because I would say that they're both equally correct. I don't know, I guess we will find out. I'm going to say automated exfil. Then we'll see as to whether or not if they smack me over the head and say, no, exfil over web service. Was it false positive or legitimate? It was actually true positive as opposed to true negative. Does it need to be isolated? Yes, we've done that. So backup evidence is maybe the syslog. I mean, there's not much else that's there. Downloads directory was entirely gone. And then eradication would just be nuke and pave the workstation, force a password reset, and see as to whether or not if there's like an abuse report we could file with GoFile. Like if something was submitted from this IP address at this time with this file, you know, could you go through and potentially scrub? And if we had like the SHA-256, SHA-1, MD5, whatever hash of the file as it was put together on our box, which I guess we could have gone through and done that, just to have one more data point. But I mean, we could have generated that and submitted that to them. It's just like, yeah, any instance of this, as this is what was pulled off our network, unfortunately, shh, you know, we'll see. I don't think it's going to really be worth it to go back with it. I think we've got the actual points that to be concerned. Okay, so how the cyber attack happened? We had a email come in with how whatever our email appliances failed to sit there and read the links and pull a copy down and run it in a sandbox, or even just run the stupid thing through VT, like a hash submission, something. But effectively, email from Gmail got past the email filters. The end user was able to sit there, download the zip file, extract it, and run the CARRD with 2Rs.exe. We observe the PowerShell command where everything is searched through for those PNG, PDF, MP4, .docx files. They're dumped into the subfolder of the root of the system drive as EXF, and everything that was grabbed of those 4 file types was zipped up into a output.zip in root of the system drive /exf/output.zip, and was kicked over to GoFile. And then we reached today where we're responding to this. How about staff management? Well, I mean, they checked the hash. They missed the aspect of the system going off, but if no further look short of just, yeah, I ran the thing to VT, it said it was malicious, okay, up the chain of command it goes for review, which I can't argue with the process. I would think there would be a little bit more involved than just virus total. I don't know. So I give them a passing grade. I wouldn't say excellent, but again, this might be a learning moment. Maybe we've been working with, you know, just 1 or 2 L1 analysts, and there's like a few more that just for whatever reason have always slipped past the cracks. I mean, this could be a teaching moment, effectively. Like, hey, so I know the process is just, okay, that would be an argument with taking it to the SOC manager. Why is the process just to run the hash through VT? Anyways, assuming it would be something like that, it would be a teachable moment. You'd be like, hey, you know, I realize procedure might have been always to sit there and submit the hash. I'm seeing about trying to get that changed. But here, let's look at a couple of samples that you have, and let's see what else we could do just beyond that point. Not that, you know, you did a shit job. You did a good job. You did at least some sort of check. It did not look right, and here it goes to a higher level. Staff management do differently. Well, hopefully just, at least for the level 1 analyst, more than just run it through VT. Especially, okay, I guess I got to give them more points. I mean, they did look. They did find the email that seemed like it kind of had something to do with this. So I guess effectively, if you were just to rely on them, yeah, I'll give them bonus points for that. Going through management, okay, let's take local admin off of a lot of these boxes. Let's have stricter controls as to what's being allowed to use. I mean, can we actually pay for the full version of Sentinel-1 as opposed to apparently us going back to Windows Defender? You know, can we get some sort of expanded logging for Sysmon to actually get if there's anything else? Can we go through and get some phishing training assigned out to those that are affected more so than what's actually being applied to everyone? It would kind of also go into the aspects of a corrective action to prevent similar incidents in the future. What precursors or indicators should be watched? I don't know, emails with any links that come from any of the free online web services like Gmail and the like. That is, if not, just get automatically sent to like some inbound admin quarantine that, you know, a member of the security staff has to go through and clear. Or file attachments too. Anything from like yahoo.com, gmail.com, what is it, outlook.com, hotmail.com, live.com, I'm assuming that's still a thing. I think those Outlook, Live, and Hotmail were the big things for Microsoft. And of course, your other third-party services, what is it, like Baidu, Yandex. I forget the other aspects, but there would be more that you could sit there and alert on. Stricter rules for anything coming from there. And then basically, yeah, we need better defense capabilities on our endpoints. Oh, then we come to the fun part. Just recalled I did not grab the hash. But we might be okay. VT might have it. Or why don't we'll see what it comes back with. Let's just have it do the hard work. And it just pointed immediately back to that. Yeah, and then it just takes us to the actual body of the, okay. Which comes out to be the, yeah, okay, that's fine. I am happy with that. So we'll do it in order of operation. We will get the name of the files in. And then we've got email sender, email domain. We're going to have the URL address for the file. We're going to have the URL address and then an IP address. So if we go back to our notes, the sender, email domain, so of course Gmail, so we can't do anything with there. URL address that they sent us to. Oops. Yes. Oh, where did I see that? Of course, when we take a look back to the log management section, looking at Megan, I don't see anything in there with the 172.31. But we had the request. Ah, yes, there it is. That would be the full thing. Back to the triage, as opposed to just the domain. Data exfil, and then we'll have the IP address in question. That is store1 gofile.io. So let's see. Coffee's gone. Ooh, I gotta hurry up. Email with a link to malware was not blocked, but delivered to end user. Clicked the link and ran. The CARRD.exe malware file. Files with the extension of or copy to an exfil directory at c:/exf. Output.zip. Copy. There's our note. True positive. We'll just paste in the same note that we did. Dang. So apparently we're cutting the line in the sand that if it's a pre-existing file sharing service, that just, I mean, it's 5 points. I really don't care. I'm not doing this for the points. I'm doing this to hopefully give a better explanation as to the thought process that can be used, or at least is observed from somebody who's in the field. Okay, well, besides that, there's nothing else. And then we get the official incident report. So let's see, we get Megan, we get 172.16.17.222, which is what we expected. C users, let's defend downloads car. Verification files, the same portion. VT. Hybrid analysis, everything else like that. Confirming it inside with threat intelligence as available on the platform. The email, which is exactly what we looked at with everything that points to that CARRD.zip. And then confirming the payload was executed. Yep. CARRD. The analysis, we got the same particular aspects of it basically being fired off again at 6:49. And then they confirm, yes, that it executed in Sysmon. We saw the PowerShell. We reversed the PowerShell. Talks about the same portion. About where they're looking, what they're looking for, where that stuff goes, and how do we punt it out the door. Except CARRD.exe wasn't inside of downloads. Thankfully, we were able to grab it and then view once we execute it again. Yeah, and just in case anybody thinks differently, going through and just randomly re-downloading the malware to execute it again on the same box that already has had it run, no. It's one thing if it's accidental, but given the fact that all this stuff is staged, we verified that, there's nothing in here that we'd actually have to be concerned about being punted out the door. Again, we wouldn't want to sit there and do that. Again, it would all just want to be, some sort of controlled malware environment, not on the actual host. But yeah, so they come to the same portion about that, okay, that we've got a copy of everything that was grabbed. And they've got the 31. Yep, so the DNS for that. And then that weird, was it the 72? Yeah. Which points back to the store1.go file.io, which is what we're also able to confirm in the systemon logs. Yes, we want to contain. I did not include the aspect in regards to PowerShell running the data collection. That might have been something that would have been worth noting. Downloading, executing unknown executables from the internet can be risky and potentially harmful. You don't say. Remediation actions, except we didn't have to delete the binary off. We did have to isolate the compromised machine. We would probably have to continue ongoing. Regularly review and analyze system logs. Yeah. Although I would think logs collecting from the perimeter and DNS servers for anything that would be a file sharing service like Dropbox or Box or Google Drive even. And basically just send alerts when somebody's uploading that stuff, especially if it's an unapproved source. Like if you've officially reviewed and signed up with Dropbox, you shouldn't be using Box or anything else like that. I guess it would be different if you're getting a lot of outside files in that would be too big to email. So I suppose you might end up having to allow a subset of users access to that particular portion. But then I think you would still want to sit there and have some sort of analysis. Okay, we still want to monitor and we still want to potentially alert that, okay, we've got an outbound process from us to, say, Box for the few handful of users that are approved for that. But we're seeing a like 2 terabyte upload from us to the service in like a 27-minute window or something along those lines. Yes, I know, incredibly fat pipes. But it would be a big data down or big data upload. I mean, realistically, you'd be like, what are you trying to do? Why before you send out data? You're only approved to download data. And even then, probably would want to sit there and have it detonated in a private sandbox. But data from local system, archive collected data, automated collection, which is what I was popped in as. Wait, so are they effectively doing a collection and exfiltration question with all those put together? Is that where this is coming from? Or maybe I just misread the question. That's entirely possible too. Yeah, okay. So if you're following along, hope you waited to click submit on everything, and you can sit there and go back and correct your playbook to, instead of following me exactly, to exfiltration over web service as opposed to automated. But from the time machine for June 13th, 2023, 6:49 a.m. for SOC207 Anomalous File OPS. EventID 158, type data leakage. Hope you've learned something, or at least at the very least, enjoyed the journey. But with all that being said, oh yeah, the other aspect is too. I think that the release schedule for this would be the next one in series for New Year's. So obviously, since I'm not putting anything out on the day before New Year's or the day of, because it's off schedule. Happy New Year. Hope to see everybody with more videos in 2024.